Welcome to the Life That Outlives You Summit. This is a gathering of experts designed to celebrate and explore the art of flourishing in your later stages of life. Each speaker will be discussing an approach to living life's rich experiences and living in an impactful way, essentially leaving a legacy. And they are here to help you create a vision of your dream and how you might go about leaving an impact with your legacy project. Today, as your host, I'm being interviewed by Liz Block, a business mentor, my business mentor. We'll be discussing what a legacy project might look like and how you can easily get yours into a form that works for you. Thank you, Liz, for flipping the roles today. Liz is a business coach that I have great appreciation for, and you're going to hear her interview later on in the summit. Hi, Liz.
Hey Terry, how you doing today?
I'm a bit nervous because I'm not used to being the one getting interviewed, so here we go.
Yes. Good. So I'm going to take over. I
Yep,
want to
it's your
ask
turn.
you the
Yeah.
first question because I think it would be really helpful for everybody here to understand a little bit more about you and what really did inspire you to create this Living a Life That You Outlives You Summit. I screwed that up, but Living a Life That Outlives You Summit.
Okay, well, this is the quote that got me started. Life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, "Wow, what a ride!"
Mm.
That's by Hunter S. Thompson. So I've heard this for a while and I've held on to it. And okay, it really is the backbone to what we're doing here today. You're going to laugh at this because I've called myself a dinosaur. I've been in this business an awful long time. I was a middle school science teacher. I was in the classroom when they started bringing the computers into the classroom, and nobody else, none of the other teachers, well, very few of the other teachers wanted to learn how to use these computers and make them applicable in their classroom. So I went around and I gathered everybody's computers and brought it into my science classroom and made my own mini science lab. And then I had to go, of course, learn how to use them. What they didn't finance was how to replace the hard drives and how to make the computers work when
Yeah.
they broke down. So I had to learn that part as well. Now, that was a long time ago, and I've been told not to call myself a dinosaur, but I left the teaching to help my friends get their websites and things online. I had to learn the tech, and nobody
Mm,
else really knew where to start. So I
mm,
left to help them learn how to do it.
mm.
So leaping forward to now, in 2023, last year, I started feeling bored doing the techie bit by bit pieces. And I didn't want to just do the tech stuff anymore. I enjoyed working with people. I wanted to do something more fun and make my life a little bit more meaningful. So
Mhm.
at the time, I was working with three particular clients. They were all over the retirement age, or the traditional, what we call it, retirement age, and they were doing amazing things and wanting help to share it with others. So they're the ones that really inspired me to focus on helping people share their body of work and their stories.
Yeah, and I love that. So yeah, dinosaur is probably not the most flattering term I've ever heard for you, to be fair. Because I think, when I think about a dinosaur, I'm thinking about somebody who isn't living by that quote. They literally are just waiting to go out of the world in a nice, self-contained way. Whereas I see you still so fully engaged, and I think you undervalue and understand how much contribution you're still making, because tech is annoying for a lot of people, right? It's not something that comes naturally, and as we get older, it's less and less easy, I find, to just pick it up.
Yes, yes. So
So there's that. But here's what I want to ask next. So you've just said you started off with the tech world, then you realize, well, actually, it's not as fulfilling, and I'm enjoying another part of it. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about what else you were enjoying and why you've now decided to expand the way that you help people?
Well, I really do enjoy sharing my tech skills and
Mm,
helping people problem solve through them. So if they come up with an idea, it helps them figure out what they want to do and how they might be able to do it and show
yes.
them that it's not really as hard as they think. And if they get help with the tech, they don't have to learn the tech, or they can just
Yeah.
learn the pieces that they want to learn.
Yes.
So I get to help them focus and figure out what their plan might be. And then I help them get it done faster because
Mm,
they don't have to go through that whole hours of learning and the frustration of learning and that whole piece. And they get to see the results faster. And in that process, they can share their results faster. So
yeah.
what and the what's really meaningful to me is these people are remarkable. They have wonderful stories to tell. I am learning so much in so many different areas. Um, I get to benefit from it as well.
Yeah, I bet. So why don't you make that come to life for me? Why don't you give us an example of one of the clients and what you've been helping them with
The
to create
three
them?
the three stories that I want to share. There's one. This one, she's a dear. She's 88 years old now. She has been volunteering all her life. Well, she's a teacher by qualification, but
Yeah.
after she turned 60 years old, she volunteered in the Peace Corps 3 times.
Wow.
And those were all overseas doing many different projects. Her significant project that we've been writing about and taking care of was when her service was in the Gaza Strip. She was assigned to help form preschools. So she was teaching them how to make preschools and make them happen successfully. So
Yes.
now what's our as we share her stories and we put up videos, we put up a website for her that she's very proud of. The thing that I get to relate to her about is with all the danger that's been happening with the war that's been happening in the East right now, she's just painfully involved with it that way. So we talk about it, we talk about the ways that she can share that today. So on the other side, I've got another client also in her 70s. Um, she's been studying it, let me put it that way. She's been studying over 30 years and knows an expertise that no one else has been taught in. The reason she knows it is because she was taught by Chinese experts that left
Mm,
their country because of their expertise.
hmm.
Now, the only other people teaching it are people that she has taught. So what she wants to do before she wants to leave her body of work out there with
Yeah.
her signature on it because others are in the internet. You can borrow things so easily. So
Yes.
she wants to make sure that her signature is on her signature
Yeah.
piece
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah.
And the final group the story I want to tell is a group of people that I've known for quite some time now. These are in the local Seattle area, but they've
Hmm.
been working with diversity and inclusion for over 25 years. They're
Yeah.
consultants. They have an institution where they teach workshops and help businesses implement all the different tools and the aspects of diversity and inclusion within there, and they want to continue it. But again, as people grow older, they want to be able to share this in a way that can be passed on to others. So
Hmm.
these are three key areas. I've learned so much, and it's so much fun helping these people. I want to do
Yeah.
more of it.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think sometimes as we age, we underestimate the value that we bring because how else do we leave body of works behind? And I say this to you all the time. Marcus Aurelius is still spoken about to this day. Why? Because he left his body of work behind, and people have used the core of it and changed it and altered it and made it more their own, but it's still his. And I think that's what your people are doing. They're saying, I experienced this. This is what I've learned. This is how I've thought about it in my own brain. And this is what I'm bringing into the world. And they don't want that to die out. And that's the advantage of living now. It is so much easier to
Ah,
digitally keep our
yeah.
body of work. And so, if there was one thing that you would want our summit attendees to leave with, what would that be? What is it? Why did you really put this on? What are you hoping to spark inside of them?
I believe each of us has a story to tell. I
Mm,
believe each of us has something that we would like to contribute or be remembered for. And some people it maybe only their grandkids. For other
yeah.
people, like these three examples that I gave you, it's beyond that. They want to share that information with others who may not have a chance to learn it. So I'm beginning to feel really passionate about this, that there's
Mm.
ways to teach people or to help people or to inspire people to get their message out there, not leave without having told their stories. So everybody's lived a life worth remembering for someone. I
Yes.
struggled with the word legacy at first when as I got going with this
Yeah.
because I had a
Yeah.
personal belief and a definition that was really way too limited. I was thinking of, oh, people only want to know that after I'm dead, but that's not the truth. One reason I'm doing this is to expand this vision and
Mm.
expand a personal belief, mine and yours, perhaps. It feels good to be inspiring people to believe that they've lived a life worth living and
Mhm.
that it's worth sharing. So,
Mm.
yeah,
And I think I honestly think it's natural because if we look at any human civilization through the ages, the way that they've left behind their information is through a story. And
yes,
that's what we're really talking about is what is your life story? What is your legacy? Because I have no problem with that word legacy because I don't think it matters what or how you have contributed. You've always got a legacy of some description that, like you just mentioned, is valuable for somebody.
yeah,
Doesn't have to be, I've changed the world, Elon Musk type legacy. It can just be, I made generational change in my family. And I think
yes.
that's valuable. And how do you see the legacy projects impacting not just the individuals creating them, but also their families and communities?
Oh, as I've been doing the research and speaking to people about this idea, many have said, oh, I wish I'd asked my grandfather about his stories. Or, I know nothing about my grandfather. Many have said, I do have family stories I want to tell, but I'm going to have to wait until after my dad dies. Or I have all this knowledge about a specific topic. I've gone to school for this for years. I've done this and I've learned this. I really want to know the best way how to get it out there to share with people. I want to get involved. And some people just want to say, I want to help my community. I can see this area of that needs help, and I want to get out and make an impact and make a contribution by sharing a solution that I possibly have. Retirement can be so much more than just about me. There are so many other ways to help others. And by telling the story of how you're going to do it, big and small, I'm not going to be a Marcus, but I can share what I'm doing and make an
Yeah.
impact that way.
And I think it was very important what you just said also is that sometimes we don't want to share what we know whilst we're still alive.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, death and taxes from that movie, oh, like a famous saying, they're inevitable. So we may as well confront it face on and say, okay, I know I want to, because I'm a bit like you. My grandfather was in Auschwitz. He
Oh,
lived that period of history. I would have dearly loved to have heard his voice on that, but he didn't want to talk about that experience,
yeah.
particularly to a naive 18-year-old from New Zealand, because that's how, I started to live with him. And so when I think of that, I think, well, would he have captured it in his own private time with the support of somebody like you to leave it behind, to leave that record behind? Because I think records like that need to be left behind, particularly in today's prevailing climate. So if we think about that, what do you think some of the challenges people face when they do start to think about this, leaving their life behind, their legacy behind? And those challenges, is this something that you can help them overcome?
Well, like we were just saying, first, they have to believe that they have stories to tell or they have a
Yes.
project that really would be meaningful for someone else. They have a project to share. Then it becomes why me? Who would want this information? Who am I going to share it with? And I can help them sort that out as who their
Mm.
audience would be. Maybe it's just their grandchildren, but maybe it's a larger audience that really needs to hear it. Then it's well, maybe technology's not my thing. I'm really afraid of video, or I don't want to learn how to make a website. So I can
Mm.
help with that piece as well and help them sort it out. What's the most comfortable way for them to do it? What makes them feel good about how they're presenting it? And we can talk about it step by step, create a vision, begin through the steps of how to get from one point to the other and complete the project that they have in mind. If I
Mhm.
can't help, my community is large enough where I know there's somebody out there in the world in the technology business or in on the internet who can help them. And we can
Mm.
refer them to those people and have them talk to them.
Yeah, so net, there's no reason not to. It really just and we've spoken about this many times. Oftentimes the first time you try and do something is the most frightening because you've never done it before, and that's
Yes.
what you're there is to help them understand that, hey, it doesn't matter, this is a journey, it's a process, let's just keep going. And I think that's how projects get completed, because it's not just on you to complete them, you've got somebody in your camp with you helping you, so
And
it's
there are
invaluable.
other examples out there, people that have already done this successfully that can, oh, I can get inspired by this person having done it. Yes.
Yeah. And so you've got 18 amazing speakers on this summit. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you chose them and what kind of knowledge and inspiration they will bring?
Again, doing a bit of research and reaching out to my colleagues and community, I've found people who specialize in helping people themselves. People love helping people. They're in service to get things done, to help you get your things done. Some
Mm,
of them are building legacy businesses. Liz is one. She can help support you and mentor you through getting a business out there. Some help in overcoming challenges, such as video, how to do a video, how to get the marketing piece to that out there so people know what you've got. A vision board, creating a vision
mm,
of their project to make it come to fruition and completion. Tech specialists that can help you with particular things. Books, if you have a book to write. Coaches who help you through grief transitions and transitioning from a job. There's a burnout coach. So, how you can take one experience and turn it into a life dream. So, all of these speakers have an individual approach and they're willing and able to encourage and inspire you to plan and move forward with a legacy project.
mm.
Most are also of an age that see the meaningfulness of doing it now.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, because if not now, when, right?
Yep.
And so what advice would you give someone who feels overwhelmed or even just still a little unsure about where they should actually start with their legacy project?
I always say begin with the dreams. Just think
Mm,
about what is the vision? What do I want to leave? What is over your lifespan? What's that one thing that just has been niggling to get out of you? How best do you feel comfortable in sharing your life? Do you want to just talk and tell stories? You can be interviewed by someone. You could write your memoir. What is something you've always wanted to do? One of the big questions people ask is, well, I felt I had a purpose in my job, or I felt I had a purpose back then.
yeah,
So share that what that was and how you discovered it. Or what is your purpose now? You're leaving that behind and you want to do something different. What do
yeah.
you want to do? I know that I plan to have a free workshop to brainstorm ideas and talk about all kinds of possible ways that you can get your story out there, that you could engage in a project. We're going to talk about these things. It'll include project ideas as well if you are one of those who aren't certain of what you want to do or create yet. So
Mhm,
how will you make your impact? Let's talk about that. I can help you do it,
mhm.
and it's going to be free.
Oh, good. That should be something that people should be very interested in coming to. If you've already got this idea, yes, this is for me, but I don't know how to start. So what about technology? Do you think technology has changed in a way that has made it easier for people to leave behind the stories as opposed to the past?
It depends. You may be very comfortable with technology. I'm finding a lot of us just don't want to learn the new stuff. It's changing so fast. So getting comfortable with the piece that will help you get your project underway. Technology is changing all the time. We've got one of the speakers is going to talk about AI. So there are is help out there. I can help with some. If not, again, I can refer you on to others.
And why do you personally believe it's important to share life experiences with others?
I'm talking from my experience. I wish I'd known more about my mom's history. I wish I'd known more about my dad and my grandma's history. I remember asking my grandma a question one time. She lived in Iowa, and She was one of 11 children back,
Wow.
ages ago, yes. But she used to talk about how her father would discipline with a willow whip. And I thought, ooh, so I want to know about one, my ancestors. I want to know though too about how people coped with this. I want to know. And I'm sure there are people that want to know about your history,
Mhm.
your thoughts, your purpose for leaving behind whatever you're leaving behind. Your
Yeah,
story needs to be told.
yeah. And look, here's the reality. The ancestry sites are blowing up for a
Yes.
reason because we are all very curious about our ancestors and what went before us. And they're making all the DNA claims that, now it's going through and that there's patterns. So that's why I think even if you're sitting there going, "Oh," and all of the thoughts, the reality is that if for no other reason, can you imagine your great, great, great grandchildren, if you're fortunate enough to have kids and have a great, great, great line? But can you imagine them being able to see you and witness you and the marvels that is today's technology that will probably keep going and keep being able to be digitized on and on? I think that is brilliant.
You're,
Okay, so
you're saying that far better than I did. Thank you.
I am very conscious of time, but here's another question that I would love for you to share with everybody. What does living a life that outlives you mean to you personally? And how do you embody that philosophy in your daily life?
That makes goosebumps appear because as a teacher, I didn't always know what was reaching or touching every student. I didn't
Yeah.
know what impact I was going to make. And the same is with us as human beings. You never really know whose life you may touch and how it'll affect them. Hopefully, you'll find out. I do know that my kids have no idea about some of the things that I've been up to, and they might like to know, and they might like to know why. However, mainly, I would love to know I've lived a life of some, oh, what is I'm trying to say there? Mainly, I would love to know I've lived a life of some impact. I've made a contribution, something that I've participated, and I want to know it'll go on beyond me. What I know for sure is that leaving an impact is an inspiring journey. You might find that it requires hard work as you get ready to do yours. It's going to require some patience. It may require a very systematic approach. On the other hand, with the appropriate planning, you'll find it a joy and an intensely rewarding project. The experts interviewed in the summit offer their support. They want to assist you to make this dream come true. Take advantage of the resources available to you. Consider the VIP pass. If you haven't yet purchased it, it's still available. I'm here to support you, and I encourage you to reach out if you need help navigating this journey. Thank you so much for joining us, and I want to hear from you as you move forward with your legacy journey. What grabbed your interest, and what will be your first action step? I'll see you on the next interview. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Liz.